Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. Today we start this show with Indian team selection. The Indian squad for the World Test Championship final has been announced, and there is one name that has made his way back, and that is Ajinkya Rahane. Yes, Ajinkya Rahane, who has not played a test match since January 2022. He's been named in the 15-man squad for the upcoming World Test Championship final. Rahane had been out of India's test side since the series against South Africa last year, where he struggled, scoring just 136 runs in 6 innings. Now, he was subsequently dropped. Then Rahane was injured, so first he recovered from his injuries, went on back to the grind of Ranji Trophy, becoming Mumbai's leading scorer with 634 runs in 7 matches, including a double century against Hyderabad. That's not all. As you can see in the IPL, he's been exceptional batting for Chennai Super Kings. This season, the last match that he played, he got 79 of 29 balls. So this is really a big opportunity for Ajinkya Rahane, but were the selectors right in bringing him back? Is it a step back, or did they have no options really with Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant injured? I have with me Jamie Alter here, Anand Vasu. We'll also look at the whole squad and talk to them about whether this is in fact a well-balanced squad for the World Test Championship final. But let's begin with Anand here. Anand, your first reaction to Ajinkya Rahane coming back. We'll get into the details of, how there weren't too many options, experience played a part. First thoughts.
Yeah, well, I think all things considered, with all the options at hand, there was really no other person to look at in this situation. I think Ajinkya Rahane coming back, although I'm not so sure he will be in the 11, him coming back, I think was pretty much a move the selectors made because there were no convincing alternatives.
Okay, now, first of all, how much of this selection, Jamie, is based on IPL performances? Because if you go on social media, everybody is talking about how it is really, how he's batting for Chennai Super Kings, but they don't go back and look at what he's done in domestic cricket. And I think, like Anand was saying, that this is also about experience. This is about his performances in Sena countries in the past. All of that has played a part in his comeback.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky because if his form in the Ranji Trophy, which ended 2 months ago, was that good, then why didn't they pick him for the Australia series? When Shreyas Iyer was injured there, he didn't start. So if his Ranji Trophy form was not good enough to get him into the squad, then what are we looking at now? We're looking at a strike rate of 199 in 5 IPL innings. It seems so. But yes, like Anand said, I also don't think that this is the case of Rahane getting a chance in the 11. And yes, when there's no Shreyas Iyer, and clearly the selectors don't see Suryakumar Yadav anymore as a test player, there really are no other options. But it just seems the selection, yes, he's done good in Sena countries, but a batsman who's so infuriatingly inconsistent, 82 test matches, an average of 38, has been given so many chances. I'm just surprised they've actually gone back to him. He's had some fantastic moments. He's led the team very, very well. But to my mind, it's a step back. If his 600 odd runs were not good enough 2 months ago, how are they suddenly good now? Just because Shreyas Iyer is not around, just because Suryakumar Yadav in 1 innings has suddenly not looked like a test player to you, I'm not quite pleased with this selection. I'm being brutally honest here.
Okay. Also, the question of Suryakumar Yadav, was he not good enough for you? Suddenly, you give him one chance and then you drop him. What's the kind of message that you're sending to him? We'll discuss that. But let me also take this question back to Anand and ask him about his thoughts on this. Anand, do you think this is a step back? Because, I mean, for a lot of people, they say, hey, you have others who you could have picked. Sarfaraz Khan, he's been scoring tons of runs in domestic cricket. Why have you not picked him? Why are you not looking forward? Why are you going back? Do you agree with Jamie?
I think this is strictly one-off selection. I don't think it matters what Rahane does in that World Test Championship final. If he plays, I still don't think he's a long-term prospect or he's coming back to the Indian team on a consistent basis. What is a bit muddling in this whole situation is that Suryakumar Yadav was given just 1 test match. If he had been given a slightly longer run and a chance to either fail or succeed, then you would have a clear pathway forward. But he was given 1 test match, and then left out. So you don't know. So there isn't a forward movement in the first place. With Shreyas Iyer gone, with Rishabh Pant gone, with the likes of Rajat Patidar also injured, I don't know who else you could have gone to looking forward unless they went for Sarfaraz Khan. But Sarfaraz Khan, throwing him in, at the final of the World Test Championship, giving him his debut in England, perhaps not the brightest idea either. So I think while it's easy to make fun of the selectors, saying they've kind of responded to social media and they've picked a batsman on 5 IPL matches, that's not true. I don't think. From what I've heard, there have been discussions around Rahane ever since they realized the seriousness of Shreyas' injury. It began, some people say, more than a month ago, even before the IPL had begun. Of course, nobody's going to come out and clarify any of these things on the record, because you know what our BCCI's policies are regarding selectors and selections. There was a time when the chairman of selectors would actually come out and take questions from the media and explain why they took certain decisions to the maximum amount possible. Obviously, certain things that are discussed in meetings stay in selection meetings and don't come out into the public domain. But at least you get a broad idea of the kind of thinking behind a process. Now, the BCCI currently does not even have a chairman of selectors in place. So I guess it's one step at a time.
Okay, so is it a step back, or they had no option and they didn't want to throw in someone like Sarfaraz Khan in the deep end? That is the question, or the reason really why they've gone in with Ajinkya Rahane. Jamie, you said that this is a step back. So if not Rahane, then who?
Back in the sense that, look, you blew the 2021 World Cup, World Test Championship, right? You have a big chance to correct that, right? But I believe that yes, you want to win that final, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world, right? You have a massive, even bigger cycle coming up. Are you going to start that cycle with inconsistent Rahane, with inconsistent Pujara? I don't think so. And I'm on the same page as Anand. This is probably just a recall for one test. But then why why then go for him? You should have perhaps been looking at boosting someone else's confidence. I'm not saying Sarfaraz is an automatic option. I think he's a long way away from playing for India. Yes, there was a paucity of options, but I'm looking beyond the WTC final. You have a new cycle. After that, the team goes to the West Indies, play some white ball matches there. There's also a test series there, right? Is Rahane going to go to the West Indies? Is Pujara going to go to the West Indies? Is Suryakumar Yadav going to come back into the frame? It just goes back to that lack of clarity around who the selection committee is, what is their thinking. Anand rightly brought it up. In the last couple of years, we don't know what is going on because of that lack of communication. I just feel, given all that, yes, Rahane has led the team. Yes, he's done well in England. But this was the guy who you dropped, a year ago, 14 months ago, right?
Yeah.
What has he done to suddenly get back? That's why I said, just given the whole muddle all around the future of India's test team, we don't know whether Rohit Sharma will even last a year as India's test captain. KL Rahul is struggling, What are Virat Kohli's thoughts? Around all of that, I just felt this could have been a chance. Yes, it's the last match of this cycle. It could have been a chance to try and give an indication as to what the next year or two look like in India's test squad, but not happening.
Yeah, but I think you've got to admire what Ajinkya Rahane is doing at the moment, Anand. The fact that, he's been given really a second opportunity, and the fact that he's not, you get dropped, he must have been heartbroken, must have been disheartened by it. But to take it in his stride and say, you know what, I'm going to go back to the grind of domestic cricket. I'm going to go, like he said himself, I'm going to start from scratch, start from zero, and let's see where I'm going. So not only has he, nursed his injury well, came back, played, scored runs, and now you're seeing a completely different version of Ajinkya Rahane in the IPL. And it's fantastic to watch, because for a lot of players, they would see them being dropped from the test side as the end of their careers. Ajinkya Rahane simply chose not to take that as the end of it all.
It's interesting, Meha, earlier in the season when he scored a double 100, soon after the day's play, he spoke to journalists and he actually said to them that he still hoped that he would play for India again. He said, "No, I always want to have that hope and want to look forward to playing for India again if I can." When he said that, he was trolled mercilessly, and people were laughing at him. And, it was beyond the realm of possibility back then that Rahane would actually force his way back into the Test side. But so many circumstances have come together, created the perfect storm really for him to come back for this one match. So yes, and I think what's happening in the IPL with his batting is not necessarily a marker, but it is a reaffirmation that Rahane is thinking clearly, that he's in a positive frame of mind, that he's in a right space mentally. You don't select someone to play at the Oval against James Anderson and Stuart Broad because they're belting some bowlers on flat pitches, in 40 degrees summer in India. That's not how cricket works, and I'm sure that's not what the selectors have done. They like what they see in his approach, the clarity with which he's playing, and that, backed up by 82 Test matches, has made him the candidate for this one-off World Test Championship. I agree with Jamie as well. I don't see him starting the next cycle. If at all he plays, it's this match and done for Rahane.
The squad overall, how do you look at the squad? We'll put that the 50-man squad up for everybody to see. But the squad itself, pretty much along expected lines. Your top 8 are decided. They've gone in with Shardul Thakur as the extra pacer, also because he likes to bat at the Oval, Jamie, with what he did in the Oval Test match in 2021. But your reaction to the overall squad?
Yeah, no real surprises there. Suryakumar Yadav, again, I mean, for reasons only the selectors will probably know. Agree with Anand, you don't sort of judge someone based on one match, so that's a mystery. Maybe he comes back in the next cycle. But again, pretty much along the lines. Akshay Patel, you don't see India rarely pick two spinners, and now you have 3. So maybe he's been picked more for his batting because, it is pretty much the same batting lineup that was picked apart almost every innings by Australia. Yes, India won that series, but the batting was a real problem. The fact that they were reliant on Akshay Patel so often in every single innings, in fact, almost. That's probably why he's there. But is he going to play? Highly unlikely. The Oval is a bit dry. It's one of the more Asian wickets along with Cardiff in most times of the year. But beyond that, I mean, the bowlers pick themselves, the batsmen pick themselves. Where does KL Rahul bat? That's something I'm very, very interested to see come June 7th.
Where do you think he will bat?
Most likely they will continue with him as an opener, which means that, Shubman Gill will probably drop down in the middle. If they've totally moved beyond KL Rahul, then maybe Rahane gets that game. I don't know, tricky one.
Yeah, this is another one that no one's talking about, Anand. The fact that they dropped KL Rahul from the 2 Test matches against Australia, that his vice captaincy was taken away from him, but he is in the squad now. Where do you see KL Rahul fitting in the squad?
The only way I see KL Rahul playing in the 11 is keeping wickets and batting at maybe number 7. I can't see him with his current mindset, form, just space where he is in Test cricket, and even spilling over into other formats of the game. I can't see him opening either in place of Gill or Rohit Sharma. So is this keeping good enough for a Test match in England? I'm not sure. I think so, because the ball does a lot after it passes the stumps there as well. There's a lot of wobble in the air. There's generally a fair bit of swing. And dropping a top order batsman can be very, very costly in a Test match. So I don't know whether he's necessarily good enough to play a Test match as a keeper. Certainly, KS Bharat is far streets ahead of him as a keeper. But as someone who can do a job and also provide some batting cover, the team management is thinking along those lines. He has not been designated as a wicketkeeper in the squad that was announced by the BCCI. Yeah. But from all the whispers I hear, this is something that they are seriously considering.
And on top of that, he is a reluctant keeper, Jamie, isn't that? So he doesn't like keeping very much, does not like keeping in the IPL as well. We've seen doesn't keep for his team. But when you get a chance to bat in a test match, you just take whatever is thrown at you. So how do you see him as a keeper batter in this World Test Championship final?
Exactly like Anand said, I also have reservations whether he can do the job across a test match, that to a WTC final. It's a lot to expect of him, but as long as Rahul Dravid is the coach, there's a long, long rope given to KL Rahul. And I'll say it again, 20 years ago, Rahul Dravid was thrust into that role as a keeper at a World Cup year and did the job very, very well, we have to say. So who knows? Again, if KL Rahul is not opening and then I just don't see him getting the rope as a keeper, then does he fit into the 11 right now? No, then.
Okay, quick one on Sky and the message that that is being sent to Suryakumar Yadav. Muddled thinking, yes, as Anand was saying as well. But just as a player, what is it that that you know how do you react to something like this? I mean, I wonder what Suryakumar Yadav would be thinking, Jamie and Anand. You gave me one chance to prove myself, and now you've just sort of dropped me. What's the message they're sending, Jamie?
Let's hope that some kind of message has been given to him, because he's too good a player not to be given a chance. And like we just been discussing, this is all about one match right now, one very, very important match. With that new cycle coming about, it could be that the selectors go back to Suryakumar Yadav. I don't know, but let's just hope for his sake. Unlike with other players, there has been some kind of a message given to him.
I mean, I would think that Rahul Dravid would have had a chat with Suryakumar Yadav, as he's done in the past with other players, Anand, where he's spoken to him and said that, look, this is just the decision possibly for this World Test Championship final, where they've gone in with Ajinkya Rahane, and that, they do have trust and belief in his abilities.
Yeah, one thing is that I'm sure there would have been communication. That's something that's been happening very well with this setup. Yeah. So I don't think Suryakumar Yadav will be speculating like we are. He will know exactly why he's not figured in that squad. See, the idea is the most important thing is for the team to get some clarity on what they expect out of Surya. Because he came in initially because Pant was not there, and he wanted someone who was a bit of a disruptor and someone who would take on the spinners, put the pressure back on the bowlers. But that's not how he bats in Ranji Trophy cricket. He doesn't bat. He doesn't play those, ramp shots and cute sweeps and pickup shots and things like that. He plays like a proper batsman. So it needs to be made clear to him what is expected of him. Do they want him to be the IPL and T20 style, or do they want an improved version of the Ranji Trophy style? Once that's clear and once the conversation has been had, I think he will be back in the mix in the next cycle.
Okay, with that, let's move on to the match that is coming up tonight. It is between the most successful team in the IPL, Mumbai Indians, versus the defending champions, Gujarat Titans, in Ahmedabad, where Gujarat have struggled to win. They've lost 2 of their 3 games. That is right. That's the big match coming up today, and I have Jamie and Anand with me to discuss that. But just take a look at how they've performed so far. Mumbai got off to a slow start, but then won, and then have lost the last game. For Gujarat Titans, a miraculous escape in the last game against Lucknow Super Giants. They defended 135. And a score that they would be very happy with after having defended, because of the kind of match it turned out to be, with questions being raised about KL Rahul and how he's batting for Lucknow Super Giants. But Gujarat Titans, their batters would know that they need to do better than what they did in the last game. Their bowlers have been good. How good was Mohit Sharma? Another comeback story this season. Mohit Sharma, an economy of just over 4 in the 3 matches, 9 overs that he's bowled, and the last over that he bowled in the last game against Lucknow Super Giants, absolutely brilliant. For Mumbai Indians, their batting looks brilliant. All their top batters in form. They've been scoring runs, but it's the death bowling which is a huge concern for Mumbai Indians. And as we get into the middle stages really of this tournament, Rohit Sharma would want his bowlers to do better than they've done so far. And talking about comeback stories, the one forgotten player was Piyush Chawla. He has been bowling brilliantly again for Mumbai Indians, the standout performer with the ball for Mumbai Indians. Arjun Tendulkar had a match to forget in the last game, going for 31 runs in 1 over. And in fact, all of their fast bowlers have been expensive, be it Jason Behrendorff, who's been giving away runs. There's Cameron Green, who's been expensive, and then there's Arjun Tendulkar as well. They look to change that today. Anand Vasu and Jamie are here with me. Gentlemen, let's get talking about this big one. Rohit Sharma and his batters have no problems. Anand, let me begin with you. The batting is all sorted, but the bowling, as we've discussed in the past, is a problem. And the last match showed how big a problem it can be when you're conceding 214 despite having gotten off to a good start. Anand?
Yeah, it is certainly a problem. I think one of the things that has been particularly surprising is that lack of zip from Jofra Archer. With Bumrah missing, Jofra Archer needed to step up and kind of take over that role. But look at the regularity with which batsmen are taking him on and getting away with it. It's got to be a major worry for Mumbai Indians. And like you pointed out, none of their fast bowlers has really come good. I don't think Cameron Green has quite got the hang of exactly what he should be doing in these conditions. I know he had one good match where he contributed a little with the bat and with the ball, but he's someone, again, who's got to do a lot more. If it hadn't been for Piyush Chawla, I think the bowling attack would look much, much worse. Piyush Chawla is helping them at least stay in contention, but he can't do that day in and day out. He's bound to have a bad day at some point. Somebody else desperately needs to step up in order to get this bowling group working as one. Also, something strange is happening in the IPL at the moment. Initially, we saw that whatever score was being made was being chased down with relative ease. Now it looks like however small the scores are, they're being defended. I'm not sure. The pitches have changed so much. Players can't be tired yet. But something has changed. The lower scoring games, though, will help a team like Mumbai because their batting is not a problem. It's the bowling that's giving them trouble. They'll be hoping that they can use that to their advantage.
But will that be an advantage for them at the stadium in Ahmedabad, because it's been a high-scoring one? The lowest total has been 177. Jamie, last question to you before I let you go. Gujarat Titans, the bowling has been good. I think today's match will also come down to Gujarat's bowling versus Mumbai's batting, because Gujarat's bowling with Mohammad Shami, with Rashid Khan, Mohit Sharma, who's looking good, Noor Ahmed, also getting wickets in the last game. Their bowling looks very good, but batting, you did see that there is vulnerability in their batting.
Yeah, I think Gujarat's openers, Saha and Gill, they don't think they've gone through the power play yet without one of them getting dismissed. We've seen Hardik Pandya struggle. He finally got a 50 after 5 matches, but even that was a struggle on that track on that given day. I think we'll see a different track today. But yeah, the lack of firepower from arguably the best chasing team last year. A bit of a worry because they're not in the top 3. They're number 4 right now. I think they have it. They have what's required to go to the playoffs. But if there's one team they'd probably like to get their batsmen back to form against, it is this Mumbai team, because Anand rightly outlined all the weaknesses and Jofra Archer's lack of zip and zing. So probably the players like David Miller, Shubman Gill, they'll fancy their chances. As to Rashid Khan, I'm very, very keen to see how he does against Rohit, because we've seen in the IPL, he's a bit of a slow starter against quality spinners. We've seen the likes of Varun Chakravarti come up against him. Sunil Narayan's been used in the power play. Ashwin used in the power play. So I know Rashid Khan he likes to come on in that 7th, 8th over. Maybe today, given Rohit's, I wouldn't say struggles, but lack of big scores, maybe you see Gujarat throw a spinner at Rohit early on.
Okay, will they stick with Arjun Tendulkar, Anand, in today's game? Anand, can you hear me? I think I seem to have lost Anand. Is Anand there? If Anand's there, he can answer my question. Or let me put that to Jamie, if Jamie's still around. Or have they both chosen to
I
Leave
have
us.
precisely 30 seconds. I think they should keep Arjun Tendulkar because barring that one run, well, like you said, 31 runs, he's done the job. And given his role that I see shaping up with this team, I would give the boy another couple of
Another.
chances. Yeah.
Okay, so Jamie says that they should stick with Arjun Tendulkar. Anand's back with us. Anand, do you agree? Will Arjun Tendulkar be given more opportunity, given how expensive he was in the last match?
He must be given more opportunities, surely. I mean, anybody and everybody, including the great Dale Steins of the world, have been taken apart in the odd game in the IPL.
Yeah.
So he's shown he's got a good Yorker. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get better. He's going to get fitter. He's going to have to work on that run up a little bit. I think it doesn't look as streamlined and as optimal as it should be for someone who's playing at this level. But I think he certainly needs to be given more chances.
What about Hardik Pandya's bowling? We've talked about how Jofra Archer, he hasn't looked as menacing. Hardik Pandya, I remember, made such a huge difference with the ball in the last IPL, and he was bringing himself on in the power play, in the middle overs, in the death overs as well. This time around, you just don't see that kind of rhythm in his bowling. Do you see that as a problem? He's, I think, got 1 wicket so far in the tournament.
It's definitely a problem. He's nowhere near in the same kind of rhythm and strength as he was last time. And remember, last time he was coming back from injury as well. So we were quite surprised by how much he was bowling himself in the power plays and how he was consistently bowling 4 overs a game. He was very keen to show that he was strong and ready again and come back to the Indian side as well. So I think motivation was really high last year. Not suggesting that it's not there this year, but it's a matter of time now. I think he'll get stronger as the tournament goes on. This is a long tournament, so I wouldn't judge him just yet. He hasn't looked problematic. He just hasn't looked quite at his strongest and best.
Do you think that's what the match will be about today? Both teams trying to trying to overcome their flaws, really, or trying to target each other's flaws, because both teams have those flaws undoubtedly. Even when it comes to Gujarat's batting in the middle overs, that's been something that they'd want to improve. And of course, we've already spoken about Mumbai's death bowling.
Yeah, I think one of the key things will be about minimizing weakness. You can't eliminate it completely with the way these two squads are built. Yeah. I don't think there are necessarily players sitting on the bench who are, knocking on the door and ready to take the places of those who are struggling with either Mumbai's bowling or Gujarat's batting. Yeah. So with these being the best personnel available for the job, how do you then minimize the weakness? I think it'll be a question of which team's weak link is stronger than the other, in a manner of speaking. Obviously, the strong suits will lift, but if you can reduce the weakness as much as possible, if you can strengthen that a little bit with some sensible, if not sensational cricket, I think you're going to give yourself the best chance of winning on that particular day.
I've asked this question to you and to Jamie earlier on in one of the shows about Rohit Sharma and how does he approach his batting when it comes to Mumbai Indians. I wonder if he thinks of batting from the beginning to the end, because that's something that Rohit Sharma would have thought about earlier on. In say this season, is that something he even considers? Because what we're seeing from Rohit Sharma is better strike rate. He is obviously approached T20 cricket and IPL very differently, or in the way it is meant to be approached. Like, he's quicker off the blocks, but he's really not been able to convert it into a big score. Is that something he's not even thinking about, because he knows the batting that comes after him?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a change in mindset. It's not. It is deliberate. I think this is a pattern that Rohit Sharma put in place when he took over as captain of India's white ball teams, and that's just spilled on into the IPL with Mumbai Indians. I don't know if he should necessarily exclude the possibility of batting out the entire innings, though, because more often than not, when he does go long, he can easily cover up for that strike rate loss. The problem is when you don't do that, you just put too much pressure on the batsmen who are coming in after you. That method is better suited to 50-over cricket, where there is more time to recover in case a batsman gets a start and then fails.
Yeah.
But here, there's not much room to maneuver. If you've both eaten up balls and not really scored at a fast strike rate,
Yeah.
what are the resources left for the batsman coming in to then contribute to the team's total? There's not very much to do. So I think this is the way you must play T20 cricket, unless it's a very challenging surface. The ball's turning a lot, or it's very up and down, or
Yeah.
if it's swinging a lot, which never happens in the IPL.
Yeah.
In those kind of circumstances, sure, a more conservative approach might be recommended, given just those set of conditions and that opposition on the day. But by and large, this is the approach that's going to bring you success on a consistent basis.
Let's also talk about how good Mohammad Shami and Rashid Khan have been for Gujarat Titans. Once again, it's difficult to really, face up to them. Rashid Khan has been doing this for so many years now, and somehow those 4 overs are the most difficult for the opposition to face. He's shown it this time around. Mohammad Shami as well, continuing from where he left off in the last edition of the IPL. They've got 22 wickets between them, and 2 big reasons for Gujarat Titans to, if they go all the way, to help them in that journey.
Yeah, Mohammad Shami has been excellent, especially because he's a kind of bowler who consistently attacks the stumps. Yeah. He's got a good steady bouncer. His biggest strength possibly is the manner in which he plans dismissals, the way he sets up batsmen, the way he thinks about how he's going to get his next wicket. It may not come off every single day, but given the experience he has, and given that he's looking in excellent rhythm at the moment, he's running hard through the crease, balls coming out of the hand nicely. He's always looking like a threat at the top of the innings, and he's coming back well also. There was a time when you perhaps thought Shami wasn't the ideal candidate to bowl in the depth, but now he's seemed to tweak that aspect of his game as well, and he's coming back strongly towards the end also. So that is certainly a big bonus for the captain. And Rashid Khan, it's like he just wakes up and puts on a new team shirt wherever he is in the world and comes and bowls. Batsman can't do anything about him. Previously, he would get more wickets because he was getting people were still going after him. They thought they'd figured him out. They thought they'd worked out his bowling speed, his googly, and all of it. He keeps changing it up. I mean, he just keeps. Batsmen today respect him so much in this format that they don't go after him. They'll just look to play out his 4 overs as best they can. He bowls the odd short ball or over pitches, or lands in a full toss. That's when he gets hit. But even then, an economy rate of just a little over 8 runs an over, that's highly acceptable in these high-scoring conditions.
Absolutely. But there's somebody who's got an economy of 6, just over 6, and that's Piyush Chawla. Who would have thought? Last match again, 2 for 15, when everybody else were 40 plus in their 4 overs. He just somehow managed to stem the flow of the runs. We've talked about this earlier as well, and you see that experience not just with Piyush Chawla but others, Amit Mishra being one, but also someone like Mohit Sharma. I mean, experience is something that these bowlers are falling back on, and one of the reasons why they know exactly what to do, they know how to outthink the batter, so they're falling back on that.
Oh, completely. And Piyush Chawla is a classic case. I mean, he played for India when he was very young, and it's been a long time since he started playing for India. But if you see the manner in which he's bowling now, it's almost as though he's bowling better than he did back then at his so-called peak, in the sense that he's using his experience and intelligence just so aptly, using the right delivery at the right moment to the right batsman. That can only come from experience, and experience is not necessarily just playing for a long time, but it's learning from that number of matches that you've played, actually learning and improving and being able to do your craft better. And that's what Piyush Chawla is doing at the moment. He's really having fun. It's not fun batting against him, I'm sure,
Yeah.
But he's doing a great job for me.
I'm just wondering what would have happened had they not bought Piyush Chawla for a base price of 50 lakhs. And that was also almost like a second thought. They just didn't go for him right away. And I'm wondering, with that kind of bowling attack, even with Jofra Archer now coming back and not looking as menacing as he was expected to, I wonder what Mumbai would have done without Piyush Chawla. But their batting is sorted, Anand. I mean, even Tilak Verma, we've spoken about him in the past as well. But just the fact that, you know, you spot him early, you get him in the side, and you give him the opportunities that he needs, you give him the mentoring, the guidance, and then he blossoms in the way he's done.
Yeah, he's been one of the stars really of this tournament, you know, among the young players.
Yeah.
We see a lot of players have one good IPL season when they're relatively new, and then when they come back the next year, they struggle to replicate it. And opposition also have better plans for them the second time around. That's not been the case with Tilak Verma. He's looked better this season than the last season. He doesn't look like an inexperienced young player. He looks like someone who very much belongs at this level, and truth be told, at a higher level as well. At least T20 cricket. He's got the strike rate, he's got the runs, he's got the consistency, he's got the temperament. He reads match situations well, he reads the bowlers well. So I think, yeah, he's a big, big player for the future.
Okay, then let's wrap this up. Let me put you on the spot between Gujarat Titans and Mumbai Indians. Who do you think has the advantage? Also keeping in mind that Gujarat in Ahmedabad, that's one place where Gujarat actually haven't been able to win. They would like to, but then they are against a brilliant batting side. So it's Mumbai batting versus Gujarat's bowling.
Well, I would say that Gujarat had the edge just about slightly, not by very much. I mean, Mumbai's batting is one thing, but this is a big ground in Ahmedabad. You know, there are ways to score runs, even if you're not hitting fours and sixes. So that weak bowling attack could be capitalized on. So I would say it's just a bit in Gujarat's favor.
Also, what would the teams look to do now in Gujarat? All the matches that have been played here, teams chasing have won that. But would Mumbai want to chase if they, if they win the toss? Also, Gujarat have had, except the last game, they've also had trouble defending. What would they look to do?
See, in the early years in the IPL, we thought that there was a very, very clear advantage to chasing, irrespective almost of where you played. But this season, I don't have the exact stat for my fingertips, but it's something like 50% of the time, teams batting first and teams batting second, or it's 55, 45. It's not a massive swing. It's not something that suggests that chasing gives you a major advantage. I don't think that's been the case this IPL. So I'm not sure that the teams would mind particularly. I think they would prefer to chase, but they'd be okay also if they had to bat first.
Okay, with that, we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much, Anand, for joining us here. There you have it. It's Gujarat Titans versus Mumbai Indians. One team that has been successful, the most successful in the IPL, the other defending champions, looking good, sitting in the 4th position at the moment in the points table. And if they win tonight against Mumbai Indians, they will move to the 2nd position. Whereas for Mumbai Indians, things are going to get more and more difficult. They are reaching that stage in the tournament where staying in the 7th position, things are not going to be easy for them. They need to start winning. Will it be today? That's a one big question we'll know the answer to in a while from now. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.